So as you know, K-Buildings works in a lot of different applications, whether it's an airplane hangar or farm shop or farm storage or a number of different things. But when you start getting into commercial buildings and new homes, there's a lot of design element ideas that come into play that you don't otherwise see. And that is some of what we're going to see with this building today. It's 100 foot wide, it's 120 feet long, and it's 18 foot to the eave. They also incorporate a number of divider walls in the building, as well as a loft in it that really is well done. And the colors that they chose for this building just make it really striking. It kind of reminds me of the video we did with the Michigan custom home builder DK Homes. They had built a similar building. I'm thinking that was like a 70 by 105 or something like that, but they took the front half of their building and framed a two-story office area with a kind of a bonus room, which took advantage of that vaulted ceiling. Then in the back of that building, they had divided that up into a series of bays that they could work on equipment and things of that nature. But like I say, you see some things with the commercial buildings and residential buildings that you don't typically see, and that's why I'm so excited about getting up here and taking a look at this. So glad you're with us. It's an absolutely beautiful day here in Ohio. It's nearing the 1st of July, and it's going to be sunny skies all day today, temps in the low 80s, and it's just a beautiful day to be on the road, and we're glad you're with us. So let's go check it out together.
Then the destination is on your right.
"14 years ago, BA Carts started in a small little garage not far from here in Van Wert, Ohio. And they were able to sell a few carts in those early years, but little did they know, in 2017, the laws of golf carts were going to change dramatically. In 2017, they became street legal, and now their customer base exploded. And as we're sitting here in 2024 and BA Carts has moved into their new facility, they admit even today that this building, while it is brand new, is still too small for what they need. And a lot of the business decisions that got into where they're at today carried on into some of the design elements of the K building, and that's what we want to talk about today. Now, they had a very specific need for this building. They needed a showroom, they needed offices, they needed counter space, they needed a customer area, and they needed an area to work on these carts as they come in and get them prepared to be sold. But with that, they were able to get all of the elements of this building to do what they needed it to do, but did it in a way that worked with the K building frames themselves. Now, mind you, in a K building for 20 and 30 pound snow load buildings, our on-center spacing of our building mainframes is 15 foot on center. And it just made sense for these people to size their overhead doors to fit between that on-center spacing. All their storefront glass fits in between that on-center spacing. Now, granted, if our needs changed, if this was a farm shop, for example, then just with the size of equipment coming in and out, then we might be talking about 30 foot or 45 foot sidewall headers and really big doors to be able to get the equipment in and out, but that wasn't the need here. So they were able to get a lot of building without adding a lot of unnecessary cost. So in addition to the storefront windows and the overhead doors, some of the other design elements of this building include 2-foot girts. And one of the reasons they chose 2-foot girts was because this was going to have bat insulation in it. And once the building was fully insulated over the winter, they were able to heat this building with a 180,000 BTU propane heater, and it kept the inside temperature steady at 65 degrees. It got really cold once, and they put in another heater in it and kept kept those at medium setting, and they came back in the next day and it was close to 80 degrees in here. So that's phenomenal when you're talking about a building that's 100 foot wide, it's 120 foot long, and 18 foot to the eave. That's a lot of space to heat. But again, it just speaks to the efficiency of even batt insulation, which that 2 foot on center girt spacing makes the installation of that insulation very easy, and you can use regular sizes of batt insulation bought at the lumberyard, keeping your insulation costs down. So one of the more striking design features of this building is that loft. And that loft idea, they were in a, ownership was in a Harley-Davidson dealership and saw a loft in there that was done in a similar fashion as this. And they knew then if they ever got to a point where they needed a new building, that is something that they wanted to put in there. And it really does give a great opportunity to showcase a lot of additional vehicles up off the showroom floor. So one of the questions that we often get is, can I get a K building in a different color other than Elgin red? And we've tried that before. There was some buildings that went to West Virginia, I believe. The customer requested they be painted John Deere green. And we did that for them and quickly found out what a logistical nightmare that is. Now, every K building is custom made to the customer's specifications with regards to sidewall height, or door locations, or sidewall headers, or porches, or lean-tos, step-down roof lines, for example. But some of the parts that go in the K building are built at other Elgin Service Center facilities. We found that trying to get all those parts and pieces together in the paint room at the same time while that John Deere green was getting painted was a logistical nightmare. So I think Henry Ford said it best with the Model T: you can get any color you want so long as it's black. It's that way with Elgin. Coming out of the factory, the only color you're going to get is Elgin red. But clearly you can see these frames are all painted black, and that was done by the customer after the building was up. Now picture the building up, all the frames in, the roof sheeted. It was then that they came in and sprayed 38 5-gallon buckets of black paint onto these frames to make them what they are. And he called it dry fall paint. And his point to that was by the time it fell from the rafters down to the floor, it was dry. So it was able to be swept up at that point. One of the things that BA Karts is known for is not only a quality premium golf cart with all of the features in it, but it's their service. It's their it's the relationship that you get with these people, not only during the sale, but then after the sale. It's a quality product with a lot of extras and wonderful service and support. So as we're talking about the golf carts themselves, these aren't your average run-of-the-mill golf carts anymore. No, some are powered by gas. A lot of them are powered by lithium batteries, and they're complete with quad speaker sound systems, tilt wheel, turn signals, touch screens, and many of them can go up to 80 miles in a charge and up to 30 miles an hour. So you were talking about the design elements in the beginning, about the 15-foot bay spacing of a K building. There's the windows set up. Now these are commercial grade windows that came in here, but you can see how they've worked within the on-center spacing of the main frames. So it doesn't add any additional cost to the building, but yet they get the whole front of this building just be filled with natural light with these glass fronts. And I love this overhead lighting. This is the underneath side of the loft area, and they've put this lighting in. It just gives not only a lot of light in the area, but it gives it just this design punch in there. It just really makes it a neat looking feature in this building. Much like the front windows that we talked about, this overhead door, again, was built within the on-center spacing of the mainframe legs. And when you're talking about a sidewall door opening like that, that is between the mainframe legs, the framework is all done with solid sawn lumber. It doesn't require a special part or a widget from the manufacturer to make that happen. And quite honestly, it just builds economy into the building while meeting the needs of the design. One of the things I really like is after some of these buildings are built, coming back out and seeing how they use it. And you get to see parts of the building that the average person doesn't get to see. And we're in one of those parts right now here at BA Karts. This is the area where a lot of the finish work is done. There's another building next to this one where all the heavy lifting and all the hard work is done, but this is where a lot of the finish work is done. This is where a lot of the mail order parts and pieces go out to people that are wanting to do their own carts. It's just a wonderful part of the building that serves a very specific need. So I absolutely love some of the industrial design touches they have in this building. Not only is the black and silver colors of the building just a striking color and very popular today, but I love the toolbox countertop here and coffee station. So it's clear that they have spent a lot of time thinking about this building and trying to put in everything that you want and that you need. But you know, the common issue that I hear, and it doesn't matter if it's a farm shop, if it's a cold storage building or a commercial building like this, oftentimes it's like we didn't make it big enough. And so, you know, that's just part of the deal. And in the case of so many Ks, especially like farm shops, lofts make a huge difference. Lofts give you an opportunity to get stuff up off the floor, so what's on the floor is truly what you need and what's important. And with that vaulted ceiling at the K, you know, you've got all this vertical space to deal with. And from a price standpoint, some of the least expensive real estate of the K is that vertical height of the building. So, you know, I guess make it as big as you can possibly make it, because if you don't grow into it now, listen to the voice of experience of people who've been there before. If you don't fill it up right now, you're going to fill it up eventually. Well, and as with any space, it's the little things that make such a big difference, like the ceiling they put over top of the counter space here and the comfortable chairs for the customers to come in and sit down as they talk about design elements of their new cart. You know, in these commercial spaces, you see things like that. Not so much in the agricultural stuff we do, but it's those little touches right there that just really add a visual punch to the space. So when we're talking about design elements of a space, look how different this would be. This is the underneath side of the loft upstairs. And just imagine how different that space would look if the frames were red and the lumber it wasn't painted. It's those black elements in here that, again, just add to the overall cool factor of this showroom. So be honest. Has anybody ever thought to themselves, how did they get those golf carts up to the second floor? Well, we're going to show you right here. Again, we're going to be stepping back into the back part of the building, and you can see right there is a special golf cart elevator to be able to get the golf carts to and from that second floor. You know, they've done a nice job of getting a lot of building for without adding any additional expense unnecessarily. There's a lot of great design tips in here. So what was some of your favorite features of this building? Leave us a message down below. And what do you think of some of these golf carts? We'd love to have a conversation with you, so drop us a message down below. Well, that's going to do it for the tour of BA Carts here in Van Wert. Hey, if you're with us this long, thank you very much. And please drop us a message down below. Tell us what the favorite element of this building was for you. And could you see yourself driving around in some of these golf carts? Hey, we thank you very much for being here. Take a moment, though, and subscribe to the channel and like the video. That does help out a great deal. But we appreciate you being here, and we will see you on the next one.